Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The one and only Sydney Sweeney joins us. Sydney, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Tom Hanks and Robin Wright in my favorite movie of the year. Guys, thanks so much for joining the show.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you. Jessica Alba and Lizzie Mathis. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Kevin Costner joins us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
One of my all-time favorites, Vince Vaughn, joins us right now. Vince, thanks, man.
Oh, great to be with you, Brad, and great to be talking to Houston. Good morning to you.
We got Owen Wilson. We got Judy Greer. Thanks for joining the show, guys.
Thank you.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
We got Anna Sawai joining the show. Anna, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Brad.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What looking to talk to me funny, lad.
Megan Trainor.
Thank you so much, Brad. You're awesome.
Paris Hilton, the infinite icon herself, is on the show. Paris, love the film.
Thank you. I'm so proud of it.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore!
Well, hey, Tony, thank you so much, man, for taking the time. This documentary, man, you have to be so proud of what the end result of this was, because this is a movie. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this film. I really don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So you have to be so proud.
Well, thanks, Brad. Yeah, it's and it was definitely a labor of love, and I didn't know how the audience would receive it, but it's been incredible.
Yeah, what has the reception been like? Like, have you seen anything specifically that stood out to you that you're like, oh, wow, that was the desired effect?
It's multifaceted in that way where I feel like, the audience at Sundance obviously loved it. We won the audience award there and at other festivals, but it's also really impacting, medical communities, GI doctors, oncologists, colon cancer, or other cancer scientists and doctors that want to screen the film because they feel like it has an impact.
Well, I mean, to me, it absolutely has a massive impact. But I'm also fascinated, like, okay, what? Give me the germ of the idea. Like, where did this whole journey for you start in making André Is an Idiot? How did you get involved intimately?
Yeah, so André and I had worked in advertising together, and I used to direct a lot of his TV spots and his crazy ideas. They were always out there ideas, just like this film, ideas that you might break a bone or get arrested, or you never knew. But that's what made him fun. And when he called me about this project, I hadn't spoken with André in probably 5 years because I'd moved to the East Coast. But he reached out over email and just said, "I've got a really fun project. Let's get on a Zoom." I assumed it was going to be an ad. We get on a Zoom call, and he's like, "I've got cancer. I want you to direct this comedy." And I thought that's going to be a really hard line of comedy and tragedy to walk, but let's see what we can do. And here we are, so.
What a razor's edge, though, to navigate of like, and to me, obviously, with the documentary, I'm always fascinated by because it has to come together in the edit, right? I mean, it's not like this is a screenplay where we know the beginning, middle, and end. We know the scenes, we shot them, we can edit them together. This is I'm gathering footage, and then I got to put a narrative together. Like, how much time in the edit did y'all have to spend in order to figure out how do you thread that needle?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we spent about a year in the edit, and the edit was the hardest part of this film.
Yeah.
As you're saying, you really do write the story in the edit. And André's mind was frenetic. He had all these ideas of things that he wanted to look into. And we shot so much random, crazy stuff with André that it was really hard to narrow it down to 90 minutes. That was probably the hardest part of the film. But I still feel like we capture an authentic portrait of André in that 90 minutes. And, the audience feels like they get to know him in 90 minutes. And so that was my goal, is like, how can I introduce my friend André to the world in an authentic way, if you will.
So when you're going through it and you have a character like André, and obviously you're saying he's got these sometimes out there ideas and he's a ball of energy, is it almost like an umpire and a baseball player, like you're trying to work the count a little bit. Like you take all these ideas that he has, and you don't want to tell him no, I'm assuming, all the time, but you got to figure out how to filter it and make his vision work and match with what you want to do in the film.
100%. I mean, there was so many days that we shot things that Andre wanted to shoot or he had ideas for that I knew would never make the final cut. But I also wanted to appease him. We were making art together, so let's try it. You never know. Maybe it will make the final cut. In the end, I did feel like the story was going to be closer to home, closer to his family, and less about all the running around and, meeting different people, which it became. It was a mix, but you're right. It was, a bit of give and take.
When you have something as serious as the subject, and there's a line on the poster, I think it's from a Collider review, where it's like the funniest film about cancer you'll ever see, right? Which is somewhat of the desired effect, but you also don't want to make and you don't do it in the movie, but you don't want people to have the sense of like, oh, this is a fun movie about cancer. I mean, it's a very serious film about cancer, but it's more about, is it about perspective in a way of how you view things in life? I just saw a quote where it says, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And it's up to your perspective to figure out. There's no good and bad. It's all kind of in your vision. Is that kind of what the through line you wanted it to be? It was like, yes, this guy has this terrible affliction, but look at how he's still living.
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head with that. I feel like when Andre got his diagnosis and prognosis, he could have looked at it one of two ways. I'll be dead in 3 years was the first way to look at it, or I've got 3 years to really live, and make something out of this. And that's what he chose. And I do feel that we all felt that, that we didn't know where this was going to end or how it was going to end, but we knew we had time and we had life. And so let's celebrate that. And I think the film allows us to open up that conversation of mortality, right, in a way that is taboo or we're not comfortable talking about. But hey, no one's promised tomorrow. Let's live for today. I've got you. Let's make something. Let's do something for the better of the world. And I think that's what Andre did in the last 3 years of his life.
Yeah, choosing to live. Absolutely, choosing to live. Now, you talk about doing an hour in the edit. I mean, excuse me, a year in the edit to create, and you going through hours and hours of footage. What version of this film did we get? How many edits down the road is the final version? Are we talking 5? Are we talking 10? How many did we go through?
I worked with a group of editors along the way, and it's funny, I think it's that old adage of where you started is where it's going to end. You know what I mean? So like your initial concept for the film is where it ends up after multiple iterations. So I feel like for a year we spun wheels, and we should have stuck with the initial emotional idea, and that's where we landed. And that's the film that you're seeing, which I'm so proud of, because it's the film we shot, and it's the experience that I had.
So you're saying when it went through these different edits, at times, like maybe the vision got a little bit more murky. Is it wasn't exactly the story that you wanted to tell?
Yeah, 100%. I think that it's easy to put this film into like a box of, a cancer film, or it's got to be sad, but that wasn't what we experienced. And so, for me, it was really important to just get the authentic story out there of what we'd gone through and what we'd experienced with Andre. And I wanted the world to meet Andre in the most authentic way possible. And that's the film that got accepted at Sundance, and the film you're seeing.
Well, and then, okay, when people walk out of the film, or they stream it, however they see it, right? Every time I walk out of a movie, or I walk out of a concert, I walk out of anything, any event, I always have the conversation in the car, right? With either the date or the friend or whomever I'm with, of like, oh man, this part, what did you think of this? Is there a particular, as the filmmaker who helped craft the narrative, is there a particular conversation you want to have in the car after this? Is it what you were saying is choosing to live even through the tough times? Or is there a particular conversation you want to have happen?
I mean, I feel like the film sticks with people in different ways, which is beautiful. Yeah. I think it's multifaceted in that way. I think for some people, it speaks to mortality. So I've had, people say, I want to show this at my retirement home because it speaks to the idea of we're not going to be here forever. I've had GI doctors and oncologists say, I want to show this at medical communities and medical universities because it speaks to what the family goes through. I've had individuals just say, I can't stop thinking about this film. I'm 5 days after seeing it. And to me, that is the mark of a good film. If you are thinking about it the next day or a week later, that means I did a great job. I mean, it means we all did our job, I guess. I don't want to, pat myself on the shoulder with that. But what I mean is any film that affects me for more than a day is a film I want to rewatch and revisit and share.
Yeah. To me also, and I don't know if you had this thing, because obviously when I wrote a book one time, and going through the editing process of that was one of the most arduous things in the world. And by the time I was done with it, I just wanted it out there, and I felt so free to I was proud of it, but I just felt free that burden, for lack of a better term, was lifted, right? And I almost never wanted anything to do with it again after I was done, because I was so intimately close to it for so many years. I don't know if you had a similar feeling about this one, just wow, we got it out there and it's finished. And then my second question to that is, did you ever have a moment where you're like, this could also be a scripted series? We could actually adapt this into a film as well.
Yeah, I mean, to answer the first part of your question, I think it's like any painting, right? Anyone that creates a painting or a piece of work, like you're saying, you did a book, you never feel finished with it. I think the artist never feels finished. We always see the flaws. But in this case, it's kind of beautiful because the film talks about those flaws. I was happy. Once it got to Sundance, it was my edit, and I was happy to let that go. I still see the flaws no one else will see, and I will see those forever. But I've definitely I'm done working on this film for sure. And the second part of your question, I'm sorry, was
about could you ever think about adapting this to a feature or a series?
Yeah, I think it could have been a really great 4-part documentary series. There was a moment where I thought, what if we were all following Andre on his journey with colon cancer, but you're seeing it 2 months after we're filming it, right? And so there was a lot of hope. There was a lot of clinical trials. We don't talk about a lot of things that happened during the filming of this that could have made a really interesting story arc. Cancer tends to have a lot of peaks and valleys, if you will. Mm-hmm. And as far as narrative, there's been discussion. Who knows? At this point, I'm sort of I'm done with Andre and the story.
I hear you.
I love Andre to death, but I've worked on this film for 5 years, and I feel like we've done Andre justice, and I don't want to destroy that. With anything.
Well, you absolutely have. You've done him justice. It's a phenomenal film. I hope everybody goes out and sees it, and they definitely will walk away with a great conversation and maybe a different way of looking at life, man. Tony, I do appreciate your time, man. Congratulations again.
Yeah,
great
Brad,
to talk
to you. That was great. Thank you so much.